Hey, look at that. We're live. I'm wearing my very patriotic shirt for the 4th of July. Again, I got to remember where the camera is. I'm going to share this link really quick so that I can let everyone know that we are live again. Now, today's live stream, we are going to be doing an unboxing. And we're going to be loading Dryplates. So if you come a little bit late, that's what's going on. Just share this guy really quick. Hey, what's up, Jay? We're getting ready to load some Dryplates, and we're going to do an unboxing. Can you hear me, TT? Can you hear me? That's the big question. Can everyone hear me? Is this working okay? Like, I want to make sure everything's working okay. Sweet. So it is working okay. So yeah, so what we're doing tonight is we are going to be loading the Dryplate holders for the shoot I'm doing at the Stanley tomorrow using Dryplate tin types, like we talked about last night in last night's stream. And then we had a surprise package come in that we're going to be doing an unboxing for. So let me just, one last post, just letting everyone know what we're doing. We'll probably start with the unboxing if that's okay with everyone. How does that sound to you guys? Unboxing first? Or loading Dryplates first? Perfect. So, this came in the mail. I already deleted my name off of it with a Sharpie, as I always do. Now, I'm going to adjust for this back to the floor like we did in the live stream last night. Okay, cool. Unboxing. Am I able? Oh, I am. I'm going to flip my camera around so you guys can see. Hey, look at that. It worked. Look at my mess from preparing for tomorrow. Cool. I think that'll work. Grab my knife. So I had someone ask me yesterday the knife that I was using, and this is a Cobra Tech out the front switchblade automatic knife. They legalized these in Colorado finally, and I picked one of these up when I was working as a mechanic still. This is the same one I use. I just keep a nice edge on it. And you're right, Terry, that vacuum is amazing. It's my favorite vacuum. Hi, Kitty Perry. The cat is curious as to what we're doing. And she likes chewing on boxes. So this is like her favorite thing in the world when Dad gets mail. This out of the way. So what I actually ordered was the Rockland tin type developer. Now this is actually what I use to develop these metal tin type plates. This is what we're shooting tomorrow. Now, as we talked about last night, is with these plates here, for the most part, when you take tin types, you're supposed to do it using the wet plate process to get that false negative. And the only way to really use an emulsion, generally, to get the false positive like this, is to go through a bleaching process. Now, Rockland makes a 3-part developer in order to make a false positive on those tin types without having to do the bleaching method. The bleaching method is actually kind of, there's a lot of really nasty chemicals involved in it in order to get that false positive. So instead, I use this kit here. If you use standard developer with the liquid light, which is what they call their emulsion, it has a huge silver content in it. It'll just turn these plates right here completely black and you lose it. So you have to use this 3-part developer instead of a standard like a deck tall developer. You use this one here, and it does something with these crystals in here. It overdevelops them basically. It's creating a false positive instead of just going black like you normally would. What are the details about tomorrow? Doing run. So we're actually so tomorrow up at the Stanley, it's the 112th anniversary, and they are opening up the building called the Post. Now, the building of the Post is the old carriage house. It's been condemned until, I believe, since the 1960s, and they're finally reopening it. The carriage house is now going to be reopened as the Post, which is a restaurant. They do chicken and beer. And then underneath it, they built a basement where Aiden Sinclair, the resident wizard, as I call him, he'll be doing his performances down in there instead of the McGregor room or the billiards room where he's been for quite some time. So he'll have a permanent stage down there. And so their grand opening is tomorrow. They're doing the ribbon cutting. The mayor's going to be there, the owner, and I'll be taking Dryplates of that because the Stanley brothers actually made their fortune selling Dryplates. They mass-produced and sold them. They didn't actually make the money on the Stanley steamer cars. They actually didn't make very much money on those at all. Now, right? I'm super excited. They're paying for the materials, and I'll be on the clock for it. So I think that that is absolutely fantastic. I'm really excited for that. Now, I just cut open the developer. Let me go ahead and switch us back to this. So I just sliced it open. I opened it up, and inside is a 3-part developer. So you actually just follow these instructions right here. In order to mix it, you mix it into 1 gallon, and you mix it in order. So part 1, part 2, and then part 3. So actually, they now label what's in these. So I've got part 1, which is deck tall developer. That's your normal old developer. And then part 2 is your sodium sulfate. And part 3 is ammonium, I can't say that word, but this is what makes the developer smell like cat pee. But this 3-part developer is what you need in order to develop these tin types from the Rockland tin type kit, which is generally what I use, is the Rockland tin type kit instead of the glass plates. Now, as we talked about last night, I did order glass plates, and they are still stuck in customs in Chicago, as far as I can tell. So instead, I've got these plates right here. This is a metal 4x5 plate, and I have these in the freezer for about 1.5 years since I had the tin type booth at Syntax Distillery in Greeley. And so I ordered the 3-part Rockland developer in order to develop those because the developer I had went bad after about 1 year. It turns purple, and you can't use it to develop your photos. Black and white developer is finicky like that. You get about 1 year if you store it correctly, and mine turned purple about 3 months ago. Ben Travis works there. What's he do at Syntax? Is he one of the bartenders? It's been a while since I did that. I was thinking about doing the booth again there this year. The reality of the situation is I don't have enough material in order to do the booth and to do the shoot tomorrow because the glass plates I ordered from Lost Light, who's located in Slovenia, they're still stuck in customs. Now, with those glass plates, you can use just deck tall with glass plates. It's just a standard silver emulsion, just like you'd have on a celluloid film or a black and white film, 35 millimeter, 120, or 4x5. But that's my surprise package unboxing. So we're going to head into the dark room, which is my bathroom with the light off. And we're actually going to load those tin type plates into the film holders that we were cleaning yesterday during the live stream. Clean this mess up a little bit, along with my invoice, the bathroom tour, right? It's clean. Sophia, our dog, who, if you guys have been around for a lot of my videos, you've seen her. Her dog food bag is there. We just had to get her a new bag of food. So where is my red light? Because we have to use a red light for this. There it is. So we're going to head into the bathroom. this emulsion is that it is blue light sensitive, and I gotta turn the bedroom light off. It's blue light sensitive, which means you can actually develop it with a red developing light or a red safety light. And that's really a good thing because it means you can actually watch the image appear while you're developing it. And that's actually kind of part of the witchcraft. And if you guys want, I will live stream that process. Is that something you'd all be interested in? Me live streaming the developing process? Now, this is the plate holders that we talked about yesterday that we cleaned out. So before I even turn the lights off, I pull my slides, leaving these empty. That'd be cool. Sweet, yes, it would be cool. So just like that. Again, we're loading 6 plates out of 17 that I believe that I have. And then I'll be taking the rest of them with me, and I'll just swap them out as we go. These were all cleaned out yesterday. So now I'm going to don the goofy headwear. Red light. So we're going to turn the light off in here. And we're completely in the dark. So I'm going to turn the brightness of my screen down. That way we don't affect the dry plates. And I'm going to swap this around. So now you guys can watch the process. So this is the box that I've kept them in for the last year and a half. It's just a light type box. Sitting in the freezer, so they have been stored correctly the entire time. And then I wrapped them in tin foil to help with the preservation, to keep them dark, essentially. I had to make sure no light was leaking in. So then we take the film holder. Those. They're still cold from being in the freezer. And there we go. An undeveloped or an unexposed dry plate. Just push this flap open. Line it up with the 2 catches on the inside. This plate might need to be trimmed. Yeah, for reals, it might need to be trimmed, this plate. Which is fine. We'll just move to the next plate. I thought I trimmed these when I put them into cold storage. Apparently I didn't trim them enough. There we go. Slide it all the way in just like this. This is where that pocket knife comes in handy again. Till it's locked all the way in, just like that. Close it. It's not quite all the way in. Again, this one is not exposed, so put non-exposed up. Oh. I think they're fighting me because they're frozen still. There we go. I was able to pop it up the rest of the way. Yep, that's fitting down perfectly now. It's still kind of giving me some trouble. Again, these are pretty old plates. They're about like a year and a half old. See, I ruined that one simply by scraping the knife across it. So that's number 6. That one's going to have an issue. That's okay that it has an issue. It happens. Now it wants to slide right in. Let's see here. Let's try another one. It's been quite some time since I've done this, so. Another one, totally different pattern on this one than the other ones. Again, they're all handmade. They're all hand poured, handmade. So they all have their own little quirks about them. Again, that one is too wide. We're gonna have to get some scissors and trim these. We're gonna have to get scissors and trim all of these, I think. Maybe it's the film holder. We'll grab number 3 and 4. Same issue. I'm not having any luck tonight, you guys. Oh, found one that was trimmed. See, and then it fits past these tabs right here. And it slides in. So the issue I'm running into is I didn't trim all of these like I thought that I had. So we're gonna have to trim them before we put them back in the freezer. Now we're loading number 4. Number 4 is giving me the same issues. And then this is just parchment paper between each of the plates. We'll load the ones that are already trimmed in first. And then I will actually trim the rest of them. Again, another one. I'm just not having luck with this tonight. Oh, looks like this one might be trimmed. Yes, that one was trimmed. Great success. Again, not exposed up. Slide it in, and then you turn the lock. And that is a fully loaded film plate holder. So we're going to sift through here. Let me check. No, it's not the one that you printed. The one you printed actually, it's not wide enough for these slides to fit down into it. So I'm going to have to adjust it with a Dremel, and that's actually for glass plates. It wouldn't work with these anyways because these are much thinner than the glass plates are. I did not trim enough of these off, but this is what happens when I wait a year and a half to touch these again. Oh, did we find a trimmed one? We might have. Yes, another trimmed one. Sweet, we're running on some good luck. So number 2, it's perfectly trimmed. Lock it in place. Flip it over. Grab another plate for number 1. The one that needs to be trimmed. So for everyone who's in the live chat, Jay on there, Justin, is the guy who 3D printed that F bayonet mount that was on the back of the large format camera that we removed last night during the cleaning process and switched it back over to the ground glass. He's the one that does pretty much all of my 3D printing work that I need done for anything photography related. I'll read that in just a second. I've got it backwards so I can record what we're doing. I can't read it in the mirror, but I will check that just in a second. Oh, look at that. We got another one. Luck be a lady. Again, not exposed. Now we just need to load number 5 and number 6. And then I guess we'll be trimming plates together. That's cool with everyone. I'll just live stream trimming plates. I really did not realize that none of these were trimmed. Oh, there we go. Look, another trimmed one. Sweet. I will have to trim these tonight because the fact of the matter is I'm not going to have time to trim them while I'm at the shoot tomorrow in the small dark space they've given me to swap plates out in. There we go. Number 6 is now loaded. Number 6 is the one we have been fighting with forever. So now we're going to try to load number 5. And then I'll check the comments and we'll grab a pair of scissors and trim these. Trouble. This one looks like it's actually trimmed perfectly. And I was right, it was. So we have 3 fully loaded film holders. So I'm going to put these plates, line them up. Stick them back in the light-proof box that I have. Now I'm going to read all of your comments really quick, answer any questions. We're going to grab some scissors and we're going to trim those together. Okay. That is a-okay. It sounds like working on an 8x10 would be amazing. Testing Simeon log film emulsion LUT in reserve. How is that film emulsion LUT working out? So far the 4x5s are coming in okay. I ran into a bunch of them at the very beginning that hadn't been trimmed for my 4x5 holders, and then I did an Dragon Kim, sorry. And then I also did an unboxing of the 3-part solution that I got from Rockland. Dragon, if you're interested, I can show off that 3-part developer to you. Though I think you used Rockland. I think we've talked about that before. But I'm going to go grab my scissors real quick, and then we're going to trim these plates together because I'm not going to have time to do that tomorrow. So I will be right back. grab scissors instead. I grabbed my antique paper cutter. And I like using this because I can actually square them off up here, and it will cut the plates, and we can take a really thin cut off of them so that they are ready to go into the plate holders tomorrow. Now, we're not cutting a whole lot off. We're cutting off, you know, a fraction of a millimeter, essentially, off of our plates. With a bunch to go through. Got 6 loaded, so we should have about 11 to be trimmed. Now I gotta turn the brightness on my phone off, or down, so it's not reflecting off the mirror, because there's a lot of blue light when it comes to phone screens. So I'll just take this, square it up, come up, just a hair. And literally, that is how much I've trimmed. That's it. Just that little tiny bit. And I will bring scissors with me tomorrow, just in case, too. Got 1. Two. Now, what impresses me about the Rockland kit is how easy it is to use compared to the wet plate process, which again I experimented with a little bit last year without great results. I know that Terry, you have a friend that travels around the country in an RV essentially doing wet plate photos, and his work is absolutely amazing. I'm quite jealous of his lifestyle, to be 100% honest. That'd be cool to just travel around taking wet plate photos in a van. I think his name was Matt, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong though. Kind of weird live streaming, to be 100% honest. Definitely not used to it, not used to being able to not edit. I think the hardest part is not swearing when things go wrong, which when you're doing things like this happens quite often. So we're just cutting plates one at a time, nice and slow, making sure they fit in the camera. Again, I will bring scissors now. Usually when I don't have this cutter with me, I use a pair of Cutco scissors. They seem to work fantastic at this task. There we go. But yeah, so tomorrow, 4th of July, Stanley Hotel, shooting dry plate tin types, the Rockland ones, I think will be a lot of fun. And again, I hand coated every single one of these plates about a year ago. And it was quite the task, but it was also, as usual, a ton of fun. And we actually did one of the videos of me coating these plates. That's actually, it's one of my series that still does relatively well. I still get hit up on that series from people looking for help with coating their dry plates, because there's not a whole lot of resources online for the Rockland tin type kit. And so a lot of people reach out on that one and ask questions, and I've helped a lot of people out, which has been actually probably one of my favorite parts about doing YouTube, has been helping other people out with the Rockland kit, or helping them pick lenses and getting started in photography. I think that's one of the best, my favorite achievements on YouTube, is the amount of people I've been able to help out. And you guys are always like welcome to hit me up on YouTube and Instagram and Twitter, because I like to see your progress. I like when people send me progress photos. They're like, hey, you know, I got that lens that you talked about. You know, these are the photos that I took with it. Like, I'm so proud of these. And it really does fill me with a ton of joy to see the progress of my peers and the progress of other photographers. So make sure that you guys are always reaching out, showing me your work. I really do love it. And it doesn't have to be dry plates. It doesn't have to be film. It doesn't have to be, you know, it can be video. It can be going out with a Holga camera and just taking wacky photos. Like, I love seeing stuff like that. Especially the Holga work. I know we talked about Holga cameras last night. We talked about Polaroid cameras. We talked about all of those neat artistic lenses. I think we talked about Lens Baby lenses. I actually was looking for one tonight. I was looking for a Lens Baby for the Sonys, because Mr. Nick Del Duca decided to tell me that they make them for Sony now. And we all know, not that long ago, I declared Nikon dead, which is, I'm still getting shit for. Yeah, look, there's my one swear word. I still hear about the time that I declared that Nikon was dead. I wasn't really saying Nikon was dead as much as I was saying the DSLR is dead. Truly, as much as I love DSLR cameras, the age of DSLR is coming to an end. Nikon moving their production of DSLRs out of Japan completely, basically completely. The fact that they have not announced a replacement to the 3500 or the 5600 is a little bit jarring if you follow how that stuff generally works. Like, replacements for those cameras should have been announced quite some time ago. And the fact that they haven't been is worrisome. And then Nikon isn't even taking mirrorless seriously anymore. Like, they're going with the quote-unquote retro look, which is kind of depressing. It's like, no, I don't want you to do a retro look camera. Like, granted, sure, it would be cool, those little retro look cameras. They do look cool. But it's like, put more time into R&D. Like, develop something new. Develop, you know, give me a mirrorless camera to at least compete with Canon. Like, come on, like, Sony has hit it so far out of the field that asking for them to compete with that is asking for a miracle. But competing with Canon, that shouldn't be a hard thing to do. And I do see that people are commenting. I haven't been able to read those comments. Again, I have a mirror over there. That's how I'm making sure that I'm in frame. And as you guys are seeing, I'm actually taking the leftover tissue paper and I'm just restacking my plates between the parchment paper so they don't stick together as the temperature fluctuates from them being frozen. And all of these have now been trimmed. That's how quickly we're able to do that. And I'll actually show you guys my antique paper cutter once we get these back in their box and secured, which we've almost finished that task. And then we will read through everyone's comments. I'll answer everything I saw and get back into it. And then I will show that 3-part developer again for those of you who may have turned in a little bit later from the unboxing and the chemical comments, because the old 3-part developer I had purchased before actually didn't tell me what each of those chemicals were. So that was pretty interesting that they now have it on there exactly what it is, which I think is neato. Now, they may have had to do that. I mean, that's definitely a possibility. There we go. We definitely have to bring scissors. Some of these have some rough edges to them. I don't have a problem with using some scissors. Now these plates are actually the ones that come with the Rockland kit. So they're nice and thin, so they fit in a standard film holder. The problem is they don't always fit the way you want them to fit in a standard film holder, because oftentimes they're too wide. It's just roll aluminum that they kind of flatten and then they slice. And that's how they get it to fit in these film holders right here. So we've got all that covered. All of those are set properly. I'm going to turn the light back on and read through your comments. Ooh, that's bright. Okay, comment section. For emulsion, I use the Foma Speed. I'd definitely be interested in the 3-part. Cool, yeah. I wish glass trim. Yeah, no doubt I wish glass trimmed that easily. If you had some of those, gotta flag down the next Cutco salesperson that runs. Yeah, they'll cut pennies. It's amazing. I'll explain this in log business to you later. It's originally super cool based on the original cinema film. That's cool to know. Yeah, I did see the whole the Fujifilm thing. That's kind of absurd to me. That's the route they decided that they needed to go, is to compete with Fujifilm of all things. Like, it's like, just make a good camera. Like the glass. Like, ever since it's been, I'm picking up trash. Ever since it was explained to me that the adapter actually set DSLR lenses at the correct distance back from the sensors to be used correctly. You know, I think about all that Nikon's glass. Nikon has some amazing glass, and for them to just give up like that is really, really depressing to me. That they just decided, no, we're not even going to try anymore. We're just going to compete with Fuji, which is ridiculous since they used to be enemies for so long. Now I'm going to try to carry this stuff to the other room where we can talk some more. Okay, there we go. Okay. All right, we're back in decent lighting. Thanks everyone who stuck around for that. I know it got painful a couple of times. I have to get my bag ready for tomorrow. That's the cat. That's Kitty Perry. Let's see, here we go. Okay, turn this light off. I've got everything in my pockets. Cool. And then I'm going to turn this screen back up so that I can talk with all of you. I think they're ramping down for actually this. Yeah, no, that's what I was saying. They moved all of that down, which is really, really depressing that they're going that route with it all. They're gonna change everything up. Now, that antique paper cutter. It's this big metal thing here. It's not as sharp as it used to be. Could you not? It's not as sharp as it used to be, so it actually, on some of those plates we just did, it just kind of folded the edges over. So I'll need those Cutco scissors tomorrow to cut that off. But this is what I use because it allows me to square it up. It's a J.H. Smith & Co., made in Chicago, same as my Burke & James camera. Their releases even said they've focused on pro. See, and that's what's interesting to me about Nikon, is they say they're going to be focusing on pro equipment, but they're not really. I mean, the Z cameras, I got to play with one, and I was impressed, but I was not impressed once I picked up a Sony. And the Canons, like, they have their own issues. Canon has its own issues when it comes to overheating. They have a problem overheating, and if that's built into the firmware. But like the 850, they're still producing the 850s, and those are fantastic cameras, and I would love to get my hands on a Nikon 850, but really I think mirrorless is the future, like, we had talked about last night. But if they're not going to be taking mirrorless seriously, the Z cameras were for consumers and not pros. Yeah, and I remember reading that press release too, and I know they were tried. Now, for Kim, for Dragon Kim, sorry, that three-part developer is a mix of Dectol, sodium sulfate, and ammonium thiocyanate. And essentially, the way it was explained to me is the three-part developer doesn't work in a bleaching process, like when you want to make a false positive using a dry plate or a standard emulsion, the way that they used to do it. You used to have a bleaching process. Now, the liquid light that Rockland produces has a very large amount of silver in it. Like, I think it's 3 or 4 times the amount of silver in a normal silver emulsion. And so what this mixture does is actually almost overdevelops that silver. That's how it was explained to me. Or it develops the smaller silver nitrate crystals that normally wouldn't develop. So it gives it kind of a sheen and a false negative look. And that's how it was explained to me that the Rockland kit works. I don't understand all the chemistry behind it. I don't even understand a little bit of the chemistry behind it. But that's how it was explained to me. Oh, hey, how's it going, man? But that's how it was explained to me, was that that's how the chemistry works. You did miss the unboxing. Inside the unboxing, we got this. It is the Tintype Developer, the Rockland Tintype Developer Kit. It's the developer used to make these, basically. We just finished up loading the film holders too. So actually, after this goes live, you can go back and watch that. Most of the time was spent cutting, cutting and trimming. But inside that developer is Dectol, which is standard black and white developer, and then sodium sulfate, and ammonium thiocyanate, which I'm not saying correctly. This stuff smells like cat pee. That's all I know, is it smells like cat pee. And the dark room smells a lot like cat pee once you go into it. But the way the developer works is not how a standard developer works. This will develop the silver, and then the other two develop the smaller silver crystals that wouldn't normally develop, giving you that false positive instead of having to use a bleaching element. Now, again, so we have 6 photos ready to go into the large format 4x5 camera. All of these are loaded with a dry plate. They're about a year and a half old, so I'm hoping that they come out. They've been stored properly in a freezer. We have about 11 more shots in here that we just got done trimming with this trimmer here. And then tomorrow, when I go up the mountain, I am going to have to bring a pair of scissors. Oh, see, you explain it so much better. That's what it does. See, that's perfect. So the way Dragon Kim just explained it, it's a toning developer that reduces to metallic silver instead of black silver oxide. So if I'm reading this correctly, and I hope that I'm understanding this correctly, is that it develops the silver to look shiny or white instead of into a black negative. Am I understanding that correctly? Please let me know. That's the understanding that I have from how it was literally just explained to me. Yeah, okay, cool. So there we go. So that's how it works. Thank you again, Dragonkin, for explaining that to me. You are your Instagram is amazing, by the way. Your work, if you haven't checked out his Instagram, Dragon, put your Instagram in the comments really quick. His dry plate work, his alternative process work is amazing. Um, we have talked a lot about the process in the past, or we've talked back and forth about the process, and it's something I want to get back into and start understanding more of the chemistry behind it because I know how it works on a practical sense. Like I know how to make an emulsion, I know how to coat a plate, and I know how to go about that, but I don't understand the chemistry behind it. And I think that understanding the chemistry behind it would probably help me make better emulsions, more sensitive emulsions, just like Rockland did with these kits. Because the last emulsion I made was about 3 years ago, and it tested at like zero point 0.2 ISO or something, some ridiculous low number. It might have been zero point 0.5 ISO. It was a ridiculously low number, and I was not that happy about it. But I did enjoy making it, and I would like to make more of it. Now, let's see here. Oh, you know what? I just came up with an idea. So this solution can go in that box. So I'm looking, I have to bring a box with me to put exposed plates in, and I was trying to figure out what box to use. But really, I think I could probably use this. Now, it's got a hole in the bottom, which means light will leak through. So I've got to find a way to bring my plates back down that have been exposed and transfer them into something that is light proof. I don't know how I'm going to do that yet. Might just bring tinfoil with me. Tinfoil makes the whole world go round. Actually, I would have enough room in this box if I just separated the exposed from the unexposed. I could do that with tinfoil. If I wrapped the exposed ones completely in tinfoil, whereas the other ones would have the parchment paper in between them, that might work. Just more stuff for me to remember to bring. Scissors, tinfoil, headlamp, camera, gaff tape the holes. That's a good idea. I have a bunch of gaffer's tape somewhere around here. I was just talking about gaffer's tape last night, actually, and the importance of gaffer's tape for photographers. Actually, I think we're talking about that because someone needed a gaffer's tape their charging LEDs. I think he's on the live feed right now, actually. Now, before I sign off, does anyone have any questions about tomorrow? Any questions about the process? Do you have any suggestions? Do you guys want me to go live tomorrow? Oh, yes. Yeah, it was you. Do you guys want me to go live while I'm up there tomorrow? I mean, I can't live stream the whole thing. They won't let me do that. But I can live stream bits and pieces. I can live stream swapping out plates. I can live stream setting up the camera. I can live stream through the viewfinder. Is that something you would all be interested in? I can't tell you the times it would be. I mean, or would it be better if I did shorts? Do you know what kind of shots you were trying to get? Yeah, so we're doing a ribbon cutting. So I'm taking shots of the ribbon cutting, and then after that, I'm not 100% sure. I get a record in a Premiere. I mean, I can't record the whole thing. I'm gonna be really busy doing light readings and such. But I can record bits and pieces. Shorts, maybe. See, that's kind of what I was thinking. A mix of shorts, and then would you all be interested if I did a compilation of all those shorts into a full-length video where I commentate on what was going on, how I was doing my readings? Is that something that would be interesting to everyone? So if I do shorts, it'll be quick uploads, some music, and then I would also be taking some landscape video throughout the day of the shoot. I can put together a video with. Okay, cool, yeah. So I can put together a video of me actually talking about what was going on, things that went wrong, things that are going right, and just the general experience of a high-paced dry plate shoot, which sounds like a lot of fun to me. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I think that's fantastic. I think that's what I'll do. And now, when it comes to actually developing, I've got to mix this developer. Do you guys want me to live stream the mixing of the developer, or should that just be a regular video? Because I could do either. I mean, if we did a regular video with us mixing the chemistry and just talking about it, then instead I could live stream developing, and you guys can see the success or failures with me as it happens. Does that sound something everyone would be interested, a live stream of the developing process. That might be more fun because then I could like build up a bunch of hype for that, try to see how many people would be interested in that, and then just kind of discuss with you what's going on. Okay, live stream the developing, absolutely perfect. So I'll do a video on mixing the developer. I'll do a video on mixing. Well, I already have Fixer Mix, so I'm not going to worry about that. But I'll do a video on mixing the developer, and I will live stream the developing process. Now, I do have that Epson scanner now, so all these photos will be scanned. I'll probably offer prints on some of them that I'm allowed to. It totally depends on the contract I sign. I sign it tomorrow, so we'll find out. I'm doing it for my employer, so we'll see how well that works. But when we scan the copies into the Epson, I'll probably live stream that as well. That'll probably be the day after. I have to let all the plates dry for about 24 hours or so. And then we'll scan those plates in and see how they come out. And you guys can see exactly how that Epson scanner works. I'm actually kind of getting the hang of this whole live streaming thing. It's a little more enjoyable than I anticipated it being. When I jumped onto live stream last night, I was like, oh man, I don't know if I want to do this. Now, let's see here. I wish I could see who's all on here with me. All my stuff's right in the way. Anywho, so if you guys missed it, this was the F bayonet mount that I had 3D printed and made to stick on the back of my large format camera. We will be redoing this one because this one you can actually do. Oh, I know I can do it on the desktop. Yes. I don't have the desktop going. But, so this was the F mount thing. It was part of my Franken camera experiment. Now the reason why this failed is because it is super flimsy and I was scared I would drop my DSLR body. So I'm going to have another one of these 3D printed. Jay, if you're still on here, I do want to try to get another one of these 3D printed a little bit further off. And then I need to make another plate. And we could probably do a whole video series on that. And then we'll go out and finally shoot Franken camera. Because I've shot Franken camera a few times, but it never left my backyard. Just because I was scared of dropping my DSLR. But I've always wanted to do a street photography with it. Now, if I don't take all 17 photos tomorrow, we will probably be doing a street photography video with Dryplates. We're going to go downtown where we always do our street photography with Nick Del Duca, and we're going to do Dryplate street photography. And again, we're not only going to be doing Dryplate and alternative process on the channel. It's going to be mixed in with the normal digital stuff we're doing. Next week's video, why not 3D print them out with the plate? And see, that's kind of what I was thinking. I don't have the 3D printer. I'd have to ask Justin if he could do that. Jay, he was commenting earlier. I don't know if he's still on the stream. But I'd have to see if he could do both for me and make it a little less flimsy. I don't know how well he knows. I don't know how well he is at design. I'll have to talk to him. I'll talk to him because I know that he has some really nice carbon fiber filament, and that would be ideal. Now, he did print me a plate holder. Let me grab it. So this is the one he 3D printed me, and it'll hold one glass plate. But when I went to test it, my slides don't fit. They're too wide, and I don't really want to trim the slides because the interior is the right size. So I'm going to try to get my Dremel out, I think. Maybe a saw blade, a thin saw blade, a Sawzall blade. Just do it by hand with some tape on it on the end, which I've done stuff like that before, to get these to fit in, because really it's literally about it's less than a quarter. It's probably a 32nd of an inch, maybe a millimeter difference. I don't know how well you can see that, where it won't fit in this, but overall I think the design is good. I think this would hold the glass plates perfectly. As soon as I get those, again, they're still trapped in customs, which I'm super disappointed about. But you live and you learn, right? Now, I've got to crash. I've got to be up in Estes, which is about a 45-minute drive from where I'm at. And I've got to be up there at 9. So I'm going to hit the hay, you guys. Thank you guys for joining me for the live stream tonight. I know it's a little bit later, at least for me, it's kind of later. It's like 10:40 at night right now. But thanks for joining me for loading the plates. Thanks for joining me for the unboxing. It's kind of fun. It's actually a lot of fun to just not be by myself at night doing all this stuff, because usually that's what it is. I'm by myself, just hanging out in the dark, loading film holders or whatever. So I'm really excited for tomorrow. I will post shorts throughout the week of tomorrow's adventures. Next week video is going to be my marketing tips video, so keep an eye out for that. The Dryplate series should be coming up soon, as well as the cinematography boot camp series. But right now we're doing, I guess, the business series. It kind of popped out of nowhere. We had the video ready, but I'm excited for the business series. It's kind of a really interesting, different take on running a photography business, and we're going to be talking a lot about grassroots efforts and free to cheap marketing to really get your business started. So keep an eye out for that, you guys. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. Don't forget, I do have merch. I'm not wearing it. It's the 4th of July, so I am wearing a Union Jack, obviously. I picked that tactfully, didn't I? But, so, then you guys, you have a wonderful evening, and I will catch you. Well, see you next time. I'm glad you had fun. I'm glad. I will rest well, Dragonkin. Thank you guys so much. I'll catch y'all on the flip side. Bye.